Windsor Castle covers 13,000 acres of the home park. Within this perimeter, the security of the monarch is treated as a mechanical absolute. The Directorate of Professional Standards is currently auditing the digital logs of the Royalty and Specialist Protection Command. These records show 30 armed officers checking into their shifts during the most recent state visits held at the residence. On the server, every post was manned. In the corridors, the king moved past gates that were unguarded. The clocking on system confirmed the presence of these 30 men at their designated stations. While the software registered a full security detail, the officers were found to be asleep. These men carry Glock 17 pistols and represent the final layer of the institution's physical survival. Their absence marks a collapse of the fundamental contract between the sovereign and the state. For Charles III, the danger was not an external intruder, but the silent withdrawal of the people tasked with his life. The audit now tracks the individual digital footprints of these 30 officers to determine the exact duration of the lapse. The logs described an impenetrable fortress. The physical reality was a series of empty chairs. The Metropolitan Police are now examining how a digital record can diverge so sharply from physical duty. The investigation remains open. In July 1982, Michael Fagan spent 30 minutes inside Buckingham Palace, drinking white wine from the pantry before reaching the Queen's bedside. He tripped 2 infrared sensors, but duty officers manually silenced the alerts. On Christmas morning in 2021, Jaswant Singh Chahal stood in the Windsor fog for 2 hours with a loaded supersonic crossbow. He used a nylon rope ladder to clear the outer wall and was within sight of the private quarters before a patrolman stopped him. The investigation into the 30 officers at Windsor now centers on the digital timestamps of their holster sensors. These logs record the exact second a Glock 17 is removed from its casing. On the night of the lapse, the records show 30 weapons remain static for the duration of the shift. At 4 in the morning, King Charles III walked the length of the gallery toward his private study. On the security server, 30 armed officers were logged at their stations. In the physical corridor, the king moved past empty chairs and silent gates. There was no sound of boots on the stone, only the digital confirmation of a perimeter that did not exist. The Metropolitan Police are now cross-referencing the king's internal movements with the silence of the holster logs. They are searching for the specific 60-second window where the king was left entirely alone. The sovereign grant has surged by 53%, reaching a record £132 million, while this capital is assigned to preserve the stone and timber of the palaces. The human shield around the monarchy is showing signs of structural fatigue. In October 2024, Prince William and Catherine were asleep at Adelaide Cottage, while the security perimeter effectively dissolved. Masked men scaled the fence at the neighboring Shaw Farm, 5 minutes from the royal residence, and drove away with heavy machinery. No alarm was triggered. 8 months later, in June 2025, tasked with this £150 million operation, is currently purging its own ranks. Commissioner Sir Mark Rowley has dismissed 1,400 officers in an attempt to stabilize the force, while internal lawsuits rose by over 100%. For the men at the gates, the institution they defend is increasingly viewed through the lens of a disciplinary hearing. Buckingham Palace has issued a formal refusal to comment on these breaches. By the end of next week, the Metropolitan Police will decide the fate of the 30 officers who fell asleep on duty. The files are being reviewed in private, while the gates at Shaw Farm remain exactly as they were on that October night. If the state cannot secure a farm 5 minutes from the future king, has the Metropolitan Police become the greatest threat to the crown? Share your thoughts below and subscribe for the next chapter.